TV. I'm about to get ready to do a very deep breakdown, y'all, on the situation that just happened in Atlanta with the four Asian women being killed and the other four, the four people being killed as well. First off, I want to say RIP on out to them, with these situations that happen. And I'm about to delve deep into this because this right here is a very deep ritual, man, that they just pulled right before our eyes. And I'm about to play the clip and I'm going to chime on in.
And we're going to start in Atlanta because there are fears this morning that a string of deadly shootings at massage parlors in the Atlanta area could be linked to a wave of attacks against Asian Americans. 8 people were killed in the city and at least 1 wounded in those attacks yesterday night, and at least half of the victims are believed to be Asian women. The suspect arrested 150 miles away after a chase is a white man. His name is Robert Aaron Long. That is his picture there.
All right, let's delve deep into this because you heard how they said 8 people were shot, right? And that the NBA was actually speaking out against it and stuff like that, saying, this is crazy how they're cowards. You know what I'm saying? You had Jeremy Lin speaking out, who's a Chinese. And I'm about to get ready to delve into this because when I first noticed this, notice how they said that it was the Asians, right? And 8 people were killed. Now, first off, I want to show some stuff right quick before I delve deep into it. The movie Boogie just came out like a couple weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken, and or like about a month, couple weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken. And it was a movie about about Pop Smoke and about the Chinese dude basically trying to earn respect. You know what I mean? I haven't seen the film yet, but from what I diagnosed from the trailer, that's what it's about. And when you notice, they said 8 people got killed. Notice how the Asian guy is wearing number 8 and he's wearing red. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm about to delve deep into this because Jeremy Lin, which is so deep, he used to play for Atlanta. And you know how this happened in Atlanta. He played for Atlanta like a couple years ago. And then he wore number 7 there. And then when they traded him, he went to Toronto and he wore number 17. 1 plus 7 equals 8, man. You know how they said 8 people got killed? That was, you know what I mean? And what's so deep about that is how he went from Atlanta to Toronto. The Toronto represent, like I said, the reptilian empire. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm about to delve deep into what all of this was really about. Because what I'm about to tap into is crazy. Because how it happened on Piedmont. You know what I mean? They said it happened on Piedmont, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Piedmont. So what's so deep about that is how the lady who got killed, one of the Asians who got killed, her name was Ashley Yan. She was 33 years old. Now I need to say your boy Jeremy Lin about to be 33 this year, right? And all her name basically mean is it's the shiny one. You know what I mean? Her name literally means the shining piece. And I'm about to tap deep into what all this is about. And I'm going to come back to this later. And her name actually means nothing but like the Ash Meadows. And I'm going to tap into that. But you remember Atlanta just hosted the All-Star game. You remember that? They had the NBA All-Star game there. You know what I'm saying? And what's so deep about that, that was literally happened 10 days or not actually 9 days before this happened. That happened. The shooting. You know what I mean? The NBA All-Star went down, what was it, March 7th? So it happened 9 days before the shooting. And I'm about to tap deep into this because you know how they said that the Asian had got killed, right? The eight people got shot, 4 of them were Asians. Now what's so deep about that is in Revelation 1:4-5, John to the 7 churches which are in Asia. Pay attention to this, y'all. That's why they use the Asian aspect because I'm gonna do the Indianapolis shooting soon. I mean next after this, but basically they was like John to the 7 churches which are in Asia, grace be with you, and peace from which is from which is and which was and which is to come from the 7 spirits which are before his throne, representing nothing but the Messiah. You know what I mean? And from the Messiah, who is the faithful witness and the first begotten of the dead and the prince of the kings of the earth, unto him that loved us and watched us away from the sins in his own blood. But I'm about to get deep into this, y'all, because focus on that aspect of the Asian. Now, what's so deep about that? In Revelation 2, the church of Ephesians, was basically in the Asia Minor. That's why I said they focusing on the Asian. Pay attention to this. Unto the church of the angel of Ephesus write, these things saith he that holdeth the 7 stars in his right hand, who walketh in the midst of the 7 golden candlesticks, talking about the 7 churches. I know thy works and thy labor and thy patience, and how thou cannot bear them which are evil, and thou hast tried them which they are apostles and are not, and hast found them liars, and hast borne and hast patience for my name's sake, hast labored and hast not fainted. Nevertheless, I have somewhat against thee, because thou forgot thy first love. Now, the first love represents the love of the Most High. You know what I mean? So I'm going to get deep into this because you basically drift away from the marriage. So I'm going back to the whole aspect of how they said it was Asians, and notice the massage aspect, the comfort of the Most High. And you see how it says that thou hast forgotten thy first love? You know what I mean? And I said about how the church of Ephesus was basically like the Asia Minor, and how this all went down on Piedmont. Now the name Piedmont don't mean nothing basically but like the mountain, the foothills of the mountain, at the foot of the mountain. And what's so deep about that? Because in Revelation 6:12, and I beheld when I had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became as black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood, and the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as a fig tree cast to her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. Remember how the Most High said that he was having the angels hold back the 4 winds, and the heaven departed as a scroll when it rolled up together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places. Hint the whole aspect of the Piedmont. And what I'm about to delve deep, remember how I said that the stars fell from heaven unto the earth. Hint the whole aspect of the All-Star game happened in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to get deep on this, y'all, because this was a very serious ritual. Now, I want to go back to the names of the people who were killed, and how Ashley, like I said, her name was Ashley Young, was 33. Her name basically means a shining piece, and the ash meadows. Now, when you understand that the ashes, when I automatically thought of that, how her name is Ashley, I thought about the candlesticks, the 7 candlesticks, like the ashes, and then the ash meadow. Like when you look at that, like basically like the judgments. You know what I mean? Like the covered in ashes. You get what I'm saying? But I'm gonna get deep onto this, y'all, because the next guy, plus she was 33 too. That was a huge thing. And one of the guys who didn't die, but he just got injured, his name was Elisha. I think his name is Elisha. And Elijah basically means nothing. Remember, as it's written, that the Most High already said that I would send Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. You know what I mean? Like, this stuff goes hard, yo. This is crazy. You know what I mean? The stars shall fall from heaven, man, and the powers of heaven shall be shaken. Hence the whole aspect of the All-Star game having to happen. And going back to about the Pop Smoke movie, you notice he got the name Carl Kane on. And like I've been breaking down about the name Kara, meaning basically the Kara don't mean nothing but basically the Messiah. You know what I mean? That's all it means. It's basically the Messiah, because the Ka represents the L. Ka basically represents the sacred, sacred cow, and then L represents the cane, like the iron rod. Hence why I have which all derives from Kara, but hence how Carl Kane represents nothing but the Messiah. That's why he was going against the Asian guy. Remember how I said number 8, and it represented nothing but the judgments upon the church of Ephesus, aka at the Asia Minor. Like, this stuff is deep, man. You know what I mean? And look how he said Pop dripped in Louis. You know what I mean? Hey, remember I've been talking about the Lewis stone of Freemasonry. You know what I'm saying? How the Lewis stone of Freemasonry is basically the stone that the Freemasons reject. Because in Psalms 118, 22, remember how it says that the stone the builders rejected has become the cornerstone. The builders is talking about as the Freemasons. And the stone they reject is the Messiah as the foundation of the world. Hence why I say Pop dripped in Louis. You know what I'm saying? AKA Lewis. So this stuff right here is literally all in our face, man. I just really wanted to touch on to that. Because too, the killer name was Robert Aaron Long, remember? And the name Robert don't mean nothing but the bright and shining. Hence why his name, hence the Messiah is called the shining, bright shining star. And then how his name Aaron basically don't mean nothing but the high priest and mountain of strength. But when you know about the high priest Aaron, the brother of Moses, you remember how he was the high priest and how the Messiah is now the new high priest. And his last name was Long too, the killer. The killer's last name was Long. You know what I'm saying? And I'm looking at that like eternity. You know what I mean? Yesterday, today, and tomorrow, man. Like this stuff is deep, y'all, and it's a whole ritual they play before our eyes. You know what I mean? But they make it seem as if it's just a regular old, killing. Like it's just somebody just going on a rampage. You know what I'm saying? And it's just deep stuff, man. Because they actually said, I think they said it happened at 5 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken. It happened at 5 o'clock, if I'm like I was saying. And when you look at that, that's 1700. In military time. Remember how I said Jeremy Lin when he went to Toronto wore 17? And then 1 plus 7 equals 8. And then how he wore number 7 in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? And then how number 8 was the whole battle between Pop Smoke and the guy that he was battling against, the Asian dude. I just wanted to really touch on that, man. Because when you look at 5 o'clock, you know what I mean? Pay attention to that. And then that's basically right at almost at the that's right basically at the nose at the of the Baphomet. You know what I mean? Like right on the side of his like mouth, side of the mouth. You feel where I'm going with this? So I just want to really just end that right here. And like I said, I'm gonna do the Indianapolis shooting. But this right here is crazy, man. And like I said, RIP on out to the people. You know what I mean? I don't just do this stuff to glorify any of these things. I like to really just break down the whole symbolism behind it. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna end that right here. Thank you for watching How to See TV. Much more is coming. Peace.